In today's video, I'm going to talk to you about corruption that I've uncovered in Allegan County. I submitted a Freedom of Information Act request to the county, and in the results of that, I discovered multiple instances where Judge Bakker and Myrene Koch were engaged in ex parte communications during cases that were in front of Judge Bakker. Now, what an ex parte communication is simply when a judge talks to one side and not the other. In the judicial canon of ethics, that's entirely disapproved of. A judge cannot participate in ex parte communications. So I found evidences, multiple instances where that happened. When the judge and the prosecutor talk to one another without telling the defendant or the defendant's attorney, that is unethical behavior. It's a violation of the rules of ethics for both the judge and for the prosecutor. And it's wrong, and it violates, in addition, it violates their constitutional right of due process. Due process means that you're entitled to a fair trial. And a fair trial means that the judge and the prosecutor are not talking to one another when your attorney is not there or when you are not there. It means it's basic sense. I mean, it's part of what we sense as fairness in our society. We want a judge to be an impartial and fair determiner of the facts. And when you have a judge and a prosecutor working in tandem to violate constitutional rights, that is a very, very significant problem. It's wrong, it's immoral, it's unethical, and it has to stop. When I talked in my second video, there was a theory that Judge Bakker and Myrene Koch were working together to create a new judgeship for Myrene Koch to be able to walk into so that she had some kind of political gain. Now, part of what I talked about was the fact that in 2019, Judge Bakker asked the Michigan Supreme Court to approve a new circuit court judgeship for Allegan. The reason for that was the increase in the docket. Now, in that video, I explored the fact that criminal cases have almost doubled in the last 4 years. And they've gone up by 52% just in the last 3 years. Civil cases in the same time have dropped by 500 cases. So I looked at the numbers, and what I thought was that Judge Bakker and Myrene Koch were working together to create a judgeship so that Myrene Koch would be next in line. If you look at it, Judge Bakker was a prosecutor, now she's a judge. Judge Kingus was a prosecutor, now he's a judge. If there's another judgeship created, who has the easiest path would be Myrene Koch. So in that video, I theorized that that was what was going on. When I sent in this Freedom of Information Act request, there was a reason that I requested all texts and emails between Judge Bakker and Myrene Koch for the last 2 years. It's because I thought that they might be communicating improperly. What I discovered is that, in fact, there were multiple emails where that was happening. I was told that their text, there's no public record of those texts, so I haven't been able to confirm whether or not there's any other communication between them via text. But we know that on these occasions, they used county computers and county emails to communicate with one another about cases that were in front of the judge at that very time, and they did not share that information with either the defendant or the defendant's attorney. And those actions are corrupt, they're unethical, they're unconstitutional. They represent both the judge and the prosecutor violating their vows to uphold the Michigan and the United States Constitution and violating defendants' due process rights. And that's wrong. It has to stop. And the question that you have to ask yourself is whether you want a prosecutor who will fight corruption or one who is a part of it.